So right now you're trying to save your marriage and show your partner the work you've put in, the changes you've made, but your partner has blocked you. Maybe she wants no contact with you. She avoids any conversation with you. She doesn't even want to share a single word with you. What can you do then? And in this video, I'm going to show you the exact game plan. That if you follow this game plan exactly as I say to the T, this will have a very high success rate. And it's what allowed a lot of my clients like Ian, like Eve, like Michael, who were facing no contact situation, blocked, their partner moving to a different country and reconciling perfectly. So let's start here with what not to do. And I see these comments a lot on my YouTube channel where people are asking, hey Jeff, I'm blocked, I have no contact. How do I manufacture contact? How do I show her my changes, etc.? And if this is the kind of questions you're asking, you are really still asking the wrong kinds of questions that will lead you to really, really bad places. So if you're currently blocked and under no contact, and this no contact is something that your partner told you, like she was the one who imposed this on you guys, know that you're in a position now where she clearly does not want to talk to you. And she does not want to talk to you usually because you've clearly crossed some major boundaries that she's trying to set for you in the past. And you've clearly done some intense damage in the past here. I mean, it takes a lot for someone to go to great lengths as to block you. Like I think about what would get my partner to block me and never want to talk to me ever again. That will take a lot of damage, guys. So we need to accept that fact. And so with so much damage done, with so much boundaries crossed, the last thing you want to do now is to manufacture contact and once again cross a boundary that she's trying to set for you right now. Do you see this, guys? But I know what you're thinking right now. But Jeff, if I just say this one thing, just give me 30 seconds and I'll be able to convince her that I've changed. But Jeff, I've already changed. I've changed massively, Jeff. If only she could just see it. If only she could see it, she will come back. Trust me, Jeff. Then you are saying too, like, but if I never talk to her, Jeff, how would she know all these amazing and great changes that I'm making? This right here, these voices right here are what we call the disguises of desire in our program. And it's what causes people to be so tethered and blindly tethered. It's what causes people to do dumb shit and do dumb shit blindly and do dumb shit thinking that they're doing the right thing and then repeating the same mistakes of doing dumb shit over and over and over again. Don't do this. For example, think about this very deeply, guys. Did your partner start out blocking you immediately as soon as you have the problem? Most likely not. So why did she block you? Because the same voices that you're telling yourself right now led you to cross her boundaries, make manufactured contact too prematurely, too obsessively, to the point where she eventually blocked you. And so now the same voices that got her to block you in the first place, and you're listening to the same voices to try to get yourself unblocked, that makes zero sense, guys. I hope you guys see that. So for the rest of the video, there are 5 major maxims, major sayings, major motto, whatever you want to call it, that I want you to keep in mind. Number 1 is that asking your partner to spend her one and only life with you and dedicate it to you and never look elsewhere is a massive ask. Think about that. Think about how massive that is. And if you want to ask of her something that massive, you better learn how to deliver big. And if you cannot deliver big, then don't be upset, confused, and frustrated when your partner is not delivering big as for you as well. Number 2, you cannot solve your problems with the same approach that caused it in the first place. So you cannot use the same thinking, the same approach, the same mannerisms, the same behaviors, the same emotions to solve your problems that caused it in the first place. Number 3, if you want to go somewhere different, you have to be willing to consider ideas, paradigms, processes, thoughts, and feelings that are wildly different than where you are, what you're doing right now. And if you want to go wildly better, then you need to be willing to consider something that's wildly different. Number 4, it's not enough to just be 10% better in the game, but you need to be 10x better so that you can transcend the game. And we'll talk about this more later on, but basically when I see a lot of people say, but Jeff, I've changed. The change they're really talking about is just a 10% change. And they're still in the game, they're slightly better, but they haven't really changed to the point where they can transcend the game. And if you want to transcend the game, the 5th thing is that you have to learn what the right, the necessary, and sufficient changes are. So a lot of times when people are focusing on changes, they're focusing on changes that are necessary but not sufficient. Like going to the gym, getting more money, etc. These are necessary, yes, but not sufficient to creating that 10x version of yourself that will re-attract her back. So again, just to double down on this point, the problem is that most people's changes, ideal changes, are low level, and at worst, they're even sometimes the wrong kinds of changes. So for example, a lot of you asking the question, how can I manufacture contact? I'm willing to take a guess that you guys are very interested in watching videos around like tactical things, like here's what you text her, here's what you say to her to get her to sleep with you again, to get her to come back again, etc. So if you learn tactics like this, of just what to say, what to do, without any of the internal shifts, you are going to maybe sometimes say and do the correct things, but you are going to blindly sometimes do the wrong things subconsciously over and over again. So this can lead you to be 10% better, but not 10x better. And sometimes you may even focus on the small, the necessary, but not sufficient changes again, like getting more muscular, changing your clothes, changing the way you dress, for example, focusing on pies, making some more money, to sound and look different, to learn a few scripts here and there, etc. And then guys, if you look at this list, think about how replaceable these are. Like every guy I know is trying to be more muscular, make more money, change their clothes, but nobody's really taking on the higher level things like understanding and deeply connecting with their emotions more, understanding how to create safety more, understanding how to create admiration more, untethering, getting rid of the victim mindset, etc. Nobody's really focusing on the softer, the more self-actualized human needs, but everyone's focused down here on the lower level human needs. Or even then, their standard of what being 10x is not actually what 10x actually means. A great example of this is one time we had an applicant who, in the first, I think, 10 minutes of his application, he said, Jeff, I'm already bulletproof and I'm just looking for some tactics to learn. And so we tested him. We said like, okay, what is your understanding of being bulletproof then? Well, Jeff, whenever my wife says something that's really mean, I can hold it in. I can like take it. I don't go crazy like before. It hurts me still, but I can still take it. Well, that to me is not the definition of being bulletproof. That's you basically barely surviving, taking on the surviving mindset, not really the thriving mindset, like we discussed in many of our videos. So if you are confused about what this means, then I have left a video for you above my head where we talk about the difference in the 3 levels of bulletproofness to make sure that you understand what it truly means to be actually bulletproof, 10x bulletproofness, 10x untetheredness, 10x non-victim mindset, etc. And the same goes for the topic of safety, admiration, alignment, and passion. Like there are levels to this thing. So I see a lot of clients, for example, who are so happy, they're celebrating over their partner telling them one thing. But they're forgetting that, yeah, while they told them one thing, expressed one thing because there's enough emotional safety to express that one thing, there is not enough emotional safety to not express hundreds, if not thousands of things that are deeply rooted, deeply layered, that are much more difficult and much more sensitive to express. So the problem again is that if you have the wrong idea of what changes mean, and you have the wrong standards of what the actual level of changes actually should be, then you're gonna make a few changes for a few weeks, and you think you've changed enough by your own definition, and you start asking the wrong questions again, and you say like, well, how do I manufacture contact now? I've changed, Jeff, I've changed. But again, are you 10x better, or are you just 10% better? Really be honest with yourself, guys, because if you lie to yourself on your actual level of changes, the only person who you're hurting is you. You're not really hurting your partner. You're not fooling your partner. You're not really hurting me. You're not fooling me. The only person you're hurting, the only person you're fooling in that denial is yourself. So the goal for you is right now is simple. If you are in a no contact situation, the goal should be singular. It should be, how do I become 10x in the 5 pillars, in my ability to create safety, admiration, alignment, and passion. And I want you to back this up with the right internal shifts so that they become a deep part of your identity, a deep part of who you are, something that you can become day in, day out. And so that creating safety on all these 5 pillars is not something that's effortful for you. It just comes naturally to you. I mean, think about it for your own case though. If you were finding yourself in a relationship where you feel so safe that anything you want to express, you can express. And you don't have to feel guilty about expressing that. You don't have to have second thoughts about expressing it. And whenever you express something, good things happen. And not only can you express something, but whenever you express, it gets listened to, deeply understood, gets taken in, instead of you getting gaslit every single step of the way. Imagine a culture where you can deeply admire yourself, but also admire your partner in such a massive way to where you feel so glued to that person in a healthy way. Imagine a relationship where you can feel you can share this deep vision of the future. Like for us, for example, right now, whenever we talk about having children, right now we're about to have children and we're setting up the whole house to be what we call like Montessori style. So beside our kitchen, for example, we're building a tiny kitchen for our little baby so that they can kind of do kitchen stuff on their own. Same thing for the bedroom, same thing for the bathroom. Like all these projects that we're sharing, this sense of teamwork that we're sharing, this sense of vision that we're sharing makes us literally unbreakable. And imagine when you are, like me, for example, 8 years into our relationship, our passion is still as healthy, as strong as it was in the beginning of our relationship. If you found yourself in that relationship like that, where it's literally unbreakable, would you ever get to the point where you can say, I want to block this person and never talk to them ever again? And if you already blocked them, then you can say, you know what, maybe it's time to unblock them again. If you had all these things, guys, if you had a relationship like that, and I want you to pause and really deeply think about and feel how good this kind of relationship can actually feel. Would you ever leave? And would you not feel naturally gravitated towards something like that? Think about it for yourself. And going back to the 5 maxims that I told you earlier, if you're still concerned with petty questions like, what if she finds someone else? What if I'm too late? How do I manufacture contact? And you're asking these questions because you find that she's not running to your arms right now. She's not crazy about you right now. Then that means that you're still in the game. You have not transcended the game. It means that whatever growth you think you've had is just 10% better, but it's not 10x. I can give 2 examples here. Imagine right now you have a cooler, and this cooler you have to put ice every time. You can only put like a limited number of things. And eventually, after a day, the ice melts. You have to go to the gas station, get more ice, put it in the cooler again, etc. Now, someone comes along and says, knock, knock, hey, I have this cooler that instead of the ice melting in 24 hours, it will now melt in 28 hours. Would you do the work of throwing away the other cooler and buying this other cooler and replacing it? Of course not. But if someone were to come to your door and says, hey, I see you have a cooler right there. I have a refrigerator. You just plug it in. It's bigger than a cooler. It has a freezer section and a refrigerator section, and you never have to buy ice ever again. In fact, this thing dispenses ice for you, for your cooler if you want. If that's the product they give, I will gladly throw away that cooler, buy that refrigerator, shut up and take my money. So in the same way, when you focus on the right things, when you become 10x in the right ways, when you actually transcend the game, you'll find that all these petty questions you're asking will no longer matter. And if these petty questions are still an issue for you, that means you're still in the game. You haven't transcended the game. And another example I can give here is, and this is not for me to sound proud or whatever, but I have not once really looked at my competition much at all. Because I know that with the principles I'm teaching, with the things I'm teaching, with the principles I'm showing you, these principles will allow you to transcend the game. So I don't need to worry about petty questions around like my competition, petty questions around this or that. I just keep transcending the game and the results will just come my way. And it's just the nature of life when you learn to transcend the game. The next problem though is that a lot of you may think that, okay, but if she's not really contacting me or she's blocked me, then how can she ever watch me long enough to actually watch for my changes? And again, a lot of my clients have said this, and I've put some of the client interviews that have realized this themselves after they have reconciled, is that your partner is always watching you. In fact, one of these stories that I post here is a couple interview where their partner literally says in the interview, of course I was always watching you, idiot. And so she may say that she's not watching. She may seem like she's not watching. She will tell you outright sometimes she's not watching. But trust me guys, she's always watching. I mean, think about it though. If it were you in a long-term relationship and you've been with this person for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, can you just say, you know what, forget it, I want to leave this relationship and suddenly just not watch them at all and turn a blind eye? Of course you cannot. That person's always going to be in the back of your mind somewhere. Same thing here. Your partner will say that she's not watching, but trust me guys, she's always watching. And if you want to understand why she's saying she's not watching when she is actually watching, then I want you to watch the video above my head, also down below this video here, where I tell you why your partner needs to make it hopeless for you, for her to really understand whether your changes are real or not. So if I was in your position, and whenever I advise clients in this position, there's really just 2 questions you need to ask yourself. So the first question is, will the opportunity come? The quick answer is yes, especially if you become irreplaceable. But even if you don't become irreplaceable, it will still likely come. But the opportunity will never come if you focus on the wrong shit all the time and you are trying to manufacture contact and creating more hemorrhages and crossing more boundaries like you're about to when you ask the question, how do I manufacture contact when I'm blocked? And another big thing, guys, is that sometimes the opportunities are right there staring in the face, but because you haven't grown enough. So because, for example, you are too allergic to resistance, you haven't become bulletproof enough, you might not see an opportunity when it's staring you right in the face. So for example, for a lot of my clients, for a lot of people, whenever they first get stonewalled by their partner turns a cold shoulder and ignores them. They see that as a threat. And they see that as, oh my God, I just lost an opportunity. I don't have any opportunity to show my changes. But for my clients, whenever they get stonewalled, you know what they say? They say, hey partner, before you go, I know I'm a really difficult person to talk to sometimes, and I know that's why, a big reason why you walked away from me. And with that conversation, they can actually plant seeds. So for most people, stonewalling is a lack of opportunity thing for them. But for my clients, stonewalling is a massive opportunity to plant some seeds. And so the key second question you need to ask yourself is, when the opportunity comes, will you be caught with your pants down? And will you be caught in a situation where you don't even realize that the opportunity even came knocking? And are you in a position where you're still making a lot of the same mistakes, a lot of the same issues, and doing so in a blind manner? Because you have wasted so much time asking the wrong questions, focusing on the wrong things, and you have failed to actually use the time you had to become irreplaceable and work on the correct things. Or will you actually be ready to create the 5 pillars backed up by the internal shifts like bulletproof vest, untetheredness, non-victim mindset, etc. And where you can perform deeply and perform effectively, perform the right things subconsciously sometimes, due to the fact that these changes have become such a deep part of you that it's become part of your identity. And the last thing, guys, is that when you start to focus on the right changes, you're gonna find that you're gonna have endless and growing opportunities coming your way. So it comes in 2 ways here. Number 1 is that as you become better at creating the 5 pillars, at the frameworks, at the internal shifts, what happens is you're gonna spot more opportunities that has been staring you right in the face, but you never recognized them before because, again, you were too unskilled. And a great example of this is, imagine a lawyer, for example. One lawyer, he's so good at the law. He understands the law so well. He understands the court system and how the law runs so well that whenever you hire him, he can find very creative loopholes and creative angles to win the case. Loopholes and angles that a lot of other lawyers and yourself may not even see. For a million years, you will never see it. Versus a very mediocre lawyer, a very newbie lawyer who doesn't understand the law very well, who will never ever find these creative angles and loopholes. Now, why can this person, they're looking at the same law book, they're looking at the same universe here, but why can one person spot more opportunities out of thin air than others? Because this person knows the law a lot better. They know the principles a lot better. So the same way as you learn the principles behind safety, behind the frameworks, behind the internal shifts, you're gonna find that you're gonna understand how to create more opportunities that you didn't even know exist before. And you can see this with a lot of my clients like Michael, for example, or Eve, where at first when they joined the program, they had no idea how to ever create contact, how to ever manufacture contact in a correct way, and how to actually show their changes. But once they master the frameworks, they find that, oh my gosh, this is so easy to create. The same way in the example that I gave earlier about the stonewalling example, even stonewalling can be a massive opportunity to plant seeds. So right now, if you're asking the question, well, how can I manufacture contact? That usually means that your skill in manufacturing contact is so low that you shouldn't be asking how to manufacture contact right now. And that when you focus on just becoming irreplaceable, you'll find that you will no longer need to ask the question again. And the great thing is, like, once you find that first opportunity, think of this journey like a rookie in a basketball league, for example, an NBA league. So at first, when you are a rookie, you haven't really developed that trust yet, so they may give you a 10-second play, 10 seconds on the court. But if you perform well in the 10 seconds, they give you 30 seconds. If you perform well in the 30 seconds again, they give you a minute. A minute becomes 2, 4, 8. Before you know it, you're a starting player. Before you know it, you're a star player, getting 24, 25, 28 minutes a game. And this is how my clients do it. Clients like Ian, for example, clients like Eve again, clients like Michael, for example. This is exactly how they do it. And their journey always begins with changing their focus, changing the types of questions they ask, the types of things they obsess about, away from manufacturing contact and tactics into the deeper internal shifts that you need to actually become irreplaceable. And once you find these things, once you shift your focus, you need to make sure that your standards of what it means to become 10x is actually the correct things in the correct standard, the correct level, and that they're the necessary and sufficient changes as well. And once you find what these standards are, become that standard and play the long game, guys. Don't try to manufacture contact right now, because once you become irreplaceable, once you become really good at these skills, you will find those opportunities. And when you find those opportunities, it's just to patiently allow more and more opportunities to come your way, eventually leading to that reconciliation. So if you want to know exactly how to learn the internal skills and also how to learn the external skills to be able to do this for yourself and take yourself from a position where you're in no contact or even blocked sometimes to the point where you are reconciled, then click the link above my head or down below this video to join me in my masterclass on the 5 proven steps to rebuilding your relationship from the ground up. In the masterclass, I'll show you the exact steps I showed all my clients to get them from A to Z. So if you want to join me in the masterclass, guys, again, link is above my head, also down below this video. For now, I'll see you in the next video.